Welcome back, folks. It is a wonderful Saturday. I'm Josephine Sage. Let's jump right into the forecast. As we take a look at our weather headlines, we're going to notice these storms are actually headed on in for the weekend. What I've been chatting about all week this week is finally here. Those higher elevation regions have a better chance than for us here in the valley, but we're going to still experience some cooler temperatures. And those higher elevation regions, like I mentioned, have a stronger risk for more severe storms and for more flash flooding, so please be cautious of that and keep aware of those hazards. Our almanac will show us we're right around those seasonal averages, 88 instead of that typical 87. That low end of things hanging out at 62 instead of 57. So we're right around what we're typically used to, but in the next 24, 48, 72 hours, we're going to drop just a few degrees into even those mid and low 80s in Grand Junction and Montrose. And I still have Milo hanging out with me for the dog walking forecast. We're going to notice tomorrow partly cloudy skies with about that 10 to 20, maybe even 30% chance for showers in Grand Junction. But again, those areas, Glenwood Springs, Meeker, Craig, even Alamosa, that San Juan's region could be receiving a lot more accumulation than what's expected in the Grand Valley. We're going to notice those peak temperatures are happening in that PM hour. And please feel free to send me a photo of your pup at jsage@carryxtv.com. Now, that monsoon potential of what I've been chatting about all week this week is moving on in from those southern areas. A lot of that flow is actually going to go straight through that Nevada and that Utah border and even into Idaho, where those areas could be getting 1.5, maybe even 2 inches of rain accumulation. But we still have some of that residual moisture, that residual precipitation content moving on across that Four Corners region and into our area, where those higher elevation regions, because of some diurnal warming, that unsettled weather will carry on over here and even to that Front Range area. So that best chance for heavy rain with that flooding possible. Definitely more west than us, but there's still that increasing monsoonal moisture between this high pressure and still this low pressure that's kind of hanging off that west coast. So as we take a look here, that high pressure is going to start to amplify, and that's where that southern flow is moving on in. Now, as we take a look into tomorrow, pretty similar. This moisture associated with this upper level low aids in that rainfall moving into those northern areas, but that chance for residual moisture, it doesn't just stop at this border. It's going to continue to move on our way. So I did mention those higher elevation regions have that chance for flash flooding. Know your risk. Are you in a floodplain? Check your insurance coverage for flooding, clear storm drains of any loose debris, and charge electronic devices in case of emergency. And if you're headed out driving, if you've got those weekend Labor Day plans, keep in mind this heavy rainfall can lead to rapid water rising in low-lying areas and rivers, especially along that I-70 corridor. So turn around, don't drown. And as we also take a look at our pollen forecast, hasn't really shifted too much. We've got excessive weed content and some moderate mold in terms of those irritations hanging on out. And I want to remind you, autumn is just 22 days away from September 23rd when that autumn equinox is. Now that extended forecast is going to show that decrease in temperatures, even as we get into the early work week, hanging out in those mid 80s. And the early work week, we've got sunshine returning for us in Montrose. Same kind of trend, a few degrees cooler, even actually hitting down into those 70s come Monday. So again, keep aware of those flash flood warnings and just that rain in general.